Welcome back, beautiful people, to the second installment of the first episode of my series entitled Versus Versus, where I will do a deep exploration of two legendary artists and their music to see who had the best music. Now, in this first episode, it's Mariah Carey versus Whitney Houston. If you've watched the first video, which I will link below if you haven't, you'd see that Mariah Carey already has a 2-1 lead from their albums 1 through 3. For today's video, I will be grading Mariah Carey's albums Daydream and Butterfly. And on the other end, I will be grading Whitney Houston's albums, the Bodyguard soundtrack and the Preacher's Wife soundtrack. Now, I know a lot of people will say, oh, that's not a real official Whitney Houston album, but let's be real, those two soundtracks would not have sold as much as they did without Whitney Houston. Essentially, some of those songs off of these respective soundtracks are some of Whitney Houston's most popular songs of all time. So I feel like it's only fitting to count those as Whitney Houston albums. So let's get into these albums to see who will win rounds 4 and 5. To start it all off, we have the Bodyguard soundtrack.
I was scared to death going into my first motion picture. The Bodyguard was a heavy deal. It took me 2 years to decide to do this movie, to really actually feel the confidence to do this movie. When The Bodyguard hit, I just got married not too long before that and had a baby. So I had marriage, baby, movie, bam. But wow, what a moment. I will never forget. We were on a mission searching for songs for The Bodyguard. What would be the song that is going to make this movie tie together? Kevin and I, of course, went through, Kevin's a music lover, so he knows all the old songs, new songs, he loves it. So he kind of went through his little collection and he came up with songs that he thought were, suitable for the movie, and I had some songs of my own. Well,
Bodyguard soundtrack is so special because still to this day it's the highest selling soundtrack of all time, selling over 45 million copies on its own. That would not have been done without Whitney's performance. The film and soundtrack solidified Whitney Houston's true star power. Yeah, she was already a pop star with so many Grammys and Billboard awards, but the film grossed over $450 million at the box office and proved how much charisma she had on the silver screen and her ability to carry her own weight alongside A-list star Kevin Costner. But she also showed that she had the ability to bless ears across the world by creating a soundscape for that film as well. That's why I will regard this soundtrack as a Whitney Houston album. Now to start it off, to make it easy for you all, we already know tracks like I Will Always Love You, I Have Nothing, I'm Every Woman, and I Run To You are all 10 out of 10 tracks, as these are some of the biggest records by Whitney Houston. The following track, Queen of the Night, a song about her claiming her spot as the woman a good man deserves. It's an 8 out of 10 track for me. The next track, Jesus Loves Me, a sweet gentle ode to being loved by the one above, a 9 out of 10. So if we round this up, this is graded as 57 out of 60, which makes it a 95%. I also added 10 points of extra credit for the cultural impact. So let's see how Mariah Carey fares with her fourth album, Daydream.
I don't really think that I should need that to validate me as an artist, and I don't think that that should be my focal point, because what if you do something that you're just feeling as an artist and wanting to express yourself and doing a totally different style of music? I mean, and debuts at number 98. Yeah. Does that mean that it's not good? No, it just doesn't mean that it's like the popular thing of the moment.
So how do you separate that, though? How do you say, this is what's close to me, and this is my art, and this is something I love, and this is something the public loves?
Well, I mean, especially with this song, Fantasy, I really had a great time doing it because we did so many different things with this song. I mean, just from the writing of it, when I initially had the idea for the song, and then I decided I thought it would be great to use the Tom Tom Club sample of Genius of Love. We got a hold of them and they were into the idea and we did it. And just being able to do that was great for me because that song brings back a lot of memories of growing up, and it just...
Is that a favorite song of yours?
Yeah, forever, and it's like, it's just, I always felt it was like one of the best tracks ever made, just as a track. I mean, it's incredible, really. And you put it on and it just gives people a happy feeling, you know, so I really was happy to be able to incorporate that with what I was feeling at the time.
The album opens up with the track Fantasy, a quintessential classic song by Mariah Carey. Not only this song is perfect, but the remix with Old Dirty Bastard is perfect as well. Mariah's ability to show off her lyrical prowess along with creating catchy and engaging hooks mixed with infectious melody doesn't go unnoticed. It's a 10 out of 10 song. Underneath the Stars, a sweet, romantic song with vivid imagery. She expresses the feeling of spending quality time with the person she loves. An 8 out of 10 song. The next song, One Sweet Day. Although this sounds more like a Boyz II Men song than a Mariah Carey song, it's a record that always touched me as they showed perfect chemistry amongst each other. An easy 8 out of 10. Open Arm. Such a strong vocal performance where she sings about being open and vulnerable. She goes back to her signature ballad style of music, but it's perfect. A 10 out of 10. Now, Always Be My Baby. What is there left to say about this song? It's one of the most perfect songs ever recorded. I've heard it 1,000 times and it still feels warm, fresh, and lovely. I can't help but to sing with a smile on my face every time I hear this song. My favorite part will always be at the end when she just goes on and sings, you and I will always be, you and I, you and I. I don't know why it's the most simplistic part of the song, but that part just touches my heart. Let me know in the comments if you feel the same way about this outro of the song. It's so beautiful, and I can't help but love it. It's simply a 12 out of 10 song. I can't say anything more about it. I Am Free. I always love how Mariah Carey throws in a praise and worship song in her albums, but they never sound out of place sonically. It's an 8 out of 10. When I Saw You. She had a captivating performance to top it off with a strong pen game. The production is simple as it allows her to be creative with her vocals, but it's an 8 out of 10. Strong but not perfect. What I love about this album so far is that it has a clear direction and sound, which I love. It's giving more R&B vibes than pop, and this is where she's at her best, in my opinion. The next song, Long Ago. I am immediately in love with the hip-hop influenced bass line as she floats over it effortlessly. She doesn't oversing as she allows her cadence and storytelling to carry the song. A 10 out of 10. The next song, Melt Away. The opening chords reminds me of Human Nature by Michael Jackson, but a very slowed down version of it. I love the imagery she used in the lyrics to capture the feeling of being in the embrace of that someone special. Co-written by none other than Babyface. This man is absolutely brilliant. 10 out of 10 song. The next song, Forever, a slow-paced song that doesn't grab my attention as well as the previous tracks, but still a great performance. A 7 out of 10. Daydream Interlude, a cool dubstep beat with infectious vocals, but doesn't offer much else. It's a 7 out of 10, unfortunately. The next song and final song, Looking In. Another song where MC allowed her storytelling to shine. This is her best album so far.
Yeah, she cries during my interview.
Yes. You know.
You're fine. Would you get mad if I said that I thought this was your best acting job? You look more comfortable in this role.
I wouldn't get mad at that at all.
I thought you just looked more at ease or something in the lines that you delivered.
Oh, it's probably because, you know, that's my home. It's, you know, what I'm familiar with, and there's a joy in singing gospel and in church. There's a joy that I remember most, and it all came back to me, and it was fun.
It just takes time, I guess, getting used to delivering dialogue in front of a camera. It's like anything else.
Yeah, well, you know, you gotta, you know, think that my first movie, I was co-starring with Kevin Costner, and I didn't know what I was getting myself into for that, you know, and I had to do a soundtrack. You know, for Exhale, I was working with some of the greatest people, you know, Forrest Whitaker and Angela Bassett, Loretta and Leela, and all these great people, and, you know, here I am, you know, the newcomer, you know, I'm a singer turned actress, not actress turned singer, you know, but I know that a lot of the appeal is because I am a singer, and that I can handle the camera. It gets to be a learning process when you have to learn how to step from one mark to another and say your lines fluidly. You know, I have problems with that because I'm a rhythm girl. You know, I'm not beats. I'm like that.
Things better flow with Whitney, right?
Yeah, you know, music. Gotta go, gotta flow.
So back with album number 5 is Whitney Houston's The Preacher's Wife soundtrack. And to be completely honest, I'm sure I've watched this film before, but I don't remember anything from it. I didn't even remember any of the songs that I've heard, as all of these songs are gospel songs, and I typically do not listen to gospel, but I was very curious to see how this would pan out. So let's get right into it. First song, I Believe in You and Me. Whitney's gentle voice hits my heart, almost had me crying at 2:15 in the morning. This song is about having unwavering belief in the person she loves. A 10 out of 10 song. Step by Step, a very inspirational track with an up-tempo tune. It's about always pushing forward despite hardships. Whitney sings with so much passion and vigor that it makes me want to conquer the world. 9 out of 10. Joy uplifts my heart. Hearing Whitney sing with the choir in the background just sends my heart to the cloud. It's almost like a cheat code, to be honest.
No, God! No!
It's a 9 out of 10. The next song, I Go to the Rock. Another lovable gospel track, once again, and as I said, it is a cheat code to have a gospel choir in the background as Whitney just tears the track up. It's almost an undefeated formula. It's an 8 out of 10 song. I Love the Lord is the next song. It's a good song, but the breakdown is my favorite part. The rest of it is just okay. So it's a 7 out of 10 song. Somebody Bigger Than You and I. I'm gonna tell you straight up, I'll never dislike a Whitney and Bobby collab, and this song also features Faith Evans, Ralph Tresvant, and Johnny Gill. Amongst all of these amazing performers, Johnny Gill stood out the most, and this song is a 9 out of 10. You Were Loved, one of the few solo tracks by Whitney on this soundtrack. A beautiful performance by her. Through this life, as she affirms that through this life, we will always have someone who loves us. 8 out of 10. My Heart Is Calling. Something about this production immediately made my ears happy, as it's my favorite song on the album. But who was it written by? Let me go check. Of course, it was written by Babyface. 10 out of 10 song. Like, it's so crazy to this point that I've been listening to a lot of old school R&B albums lately. The albums that I never got around to when I was younger. And every single time there's a track that stands out to me so much, I have to go and look to see who wrote it. And it's almost always Babyface. This man is just a genius. The next song, Who Would Imagine a King? Honestly, my least favorite song, but it kind of sounds like a song from the Lion King soundtrack, which isn't bad. So it's a 7 out of 10. The next song, He's All Over Me. With the song He's All Over Me, I'm going to preface by saying, so there's this episode of South Park where Cartman becomes a praise and worship singer and he sells millions of copies. But his cheat code is taking lyrics from R&B songs, switching terms of endearment like baby, my love, sweetness to God and Jesus. And throughout the entire episode, it worked. Nobody really noticed it until a couple of executives were like, if you really listen to the lyrics, it sounds like you have a sexual infatuation with Jesus. You know, like and it was so funny because it was genius because it worked for him in the beginning where all he had to do was just switch up some lyrics from R&B songs and make them into a gospel song. And this song here reminds me of that, but in reverse, where if you were to take the words God and Jesus and switch it with baby or another term of endearment, it can be a love-making song. And I don't know, maybe I'm just immature as fuck, but as I heard her sing over and over, He's all over me, He's all over me, in reference to God being inside or around her, like if she were just to switch it, my man's inside of me, come on now, like, I'm sorry, I'm immature, I'll leave it. I didn't really like the song too much, but I still gave it a 7 out of 10 because it did sound great. I just couldn't help but. All right, Joy to the World. It was a song I almost skipped because I never cared about this song in any rendition, but this rendition of the song is absolutely beautiful. So it's a 9 out of 10 for me. So this album tallied up to 112 points out of a possible 120, and it's a 93%, plus 10 points extra credit for the choir. Let's see how Mariah Carey's 5th album, Butterfly, fares in comparison.
I would say that my favorite song on this album is a song called The Roof. And It's my favorite song because, first of all, the track, I love the track. I did it with the track masters, very cutting edge, very popular in the hip hop world, and they're also good friends of mine, and we did this record, and it's a sample of a rap song called Shook Ones by a group called Mobb Deep. I had the idea to do it a long time ago, and I don't know, I feel lyrically I really think it's powerful, and it's not the typical performance vocally for me, and I enjoyed being able to do a song that wasn't about belting all the way through. It wasn't about like vocally showing off or anything else. Not to say that in the past it's been about showing off. I mean, people have interpreted that and said that about me, whatever. But this particular song, it wouldn't have been appropriate. And, so it's my favorite.
First song, Honey, Mariah Carey taps into her hip-hop and R&B bag to create one of her greatest singles ever. Personally, this version of Mariah Carey is underrated, as she seems to perform with so much more freedom when she has these R&B and hip-hop type of productions. The next song, Butterfly, a beautiful song that captures my ears with pleasant harmonies as she sings about desperately loving someone so deeply, but she must allow them to spread their wings and start a new life without her. Letting go is one of the most difficult battles we face in love, but it's necessary when it's time to grow. This song is a 10 out of 10. The next song, My All, she croons about drowning in a forbidden love and how the love she feels can have contrasting emotional pulls. On one side, your heart tells you to swim to safety to save yourself, while the other side tells you to keep drowning as it feels good to be consumed by them, even if it kills you. It's a 9 out of 10 song. The Roof, she sings over one of the most popular hip-hop samples, definitely my favorite style, my favorite lyric. I only wanted you to taste my sadness while you kissed me in the dark. That spoke volumes to me. The story feels personal as she describes an intimate moment she shared with an old lover. Lyrically, the song stands out a lot. It's vivid with beautiful vocabulary. 10 out of 10. 4th of July. She sets up the song with vivid imagery. Once again, her songwriting continues to be more free as she seems to have been creatively released from the constraints of classical dance pop music. With the added ambience of nature sounds and a groovy bass line, it's impossible to not love the song. It makes you want to lay in a bed of flowers with the person you love. I know that sounds corny, but that's how I felt. 10 out of 10. Breakdown featuring Bone Thugs. I'm afraid to say I wasn't familiar with the song prior to listening to it, which is crazy because I've always been a huge fan of both acts. Nonetheless, it's no surprise that their chemistry is through the roof as they're surrounded by their vocal harmonies, and they both do an incredible job floating on top of each other in the background and in the main vocals as well. The song talks about the residual feeling of heartbreak after so much crying. What's next? The healing process is definitely a tough one. Crazy Bone's background vocals alongside Mariah's is out of this world. It definitely brought a smile to my face. And the verses by Crazy Bone and Wishbone were great as well. It's an 11 out of 10 song. The next song, Baby Doll. The production is dope as fuck. She sings about wanting to be comforted by the person she loves. Another stellar performance. Close My Eyes. After the high the first 7 songs gave me, I became a fiend. This song gave me a bit of a withdrawal, but it's still beautiful. My interpretation is it's a song about healing your inner child after traumatic life experiences, a subject that I will always resonate with as I've written so many poems about healing my inner child. And here's one of them, if you don't mind, from my poetry collection, A Home for Lonely Souls, Volume 2. An ode to my inner child. My inner child is the visionary who believes all his dreams will come true. The feather who remains soft after being crushed. The one who still believes in love. The one who is too strong to give up. My inner child is too important to lock away in the corner of my brain. I would drive myself insane if I were forced into a vortex of the mundane. Every night I tuck in my inner child, sing sweet lullabies, give a kiss and say goodnight. I want him to know I will always be by his side and will never have to beg for love. I will always be his guiding light. This beautiful song is a 9 out of 10. The next song, Whenever You Call, is all about friendship and being there for the people you care about when they need you the most, which is a message that is very relatable and important, as friendship, camaraderie, and being supportive for someone you care about is the most important dynamic we will feel outside of our given family. As in a lot of cases, we may feel most seen, loved, and understood by the friends we chose versus the family that we were born with. So this is why this song is very important and near and dear to my heart. This song reminds me of a poem from my poetry collection, Cry But Stay Strong, entitled Real Friends. Even when we do not see eye to eye, I will always be by your side to provide light when life gets dark. Even when your feet burn as you tread through hell, I will put you on my back to give you a rest. I know you would save my life without blinking twice. I may not text back fast or answer every call. I may seem distant for the most part, but as a friend, you will always be in my heart, and that will never change. See, sometimes the shortest and sweet sentiments really means the most to us as human beings. Being there for the people you love in the most major way is the most beautiful thing you can do. The next song, Fly Away, a reprise for the track entitled Butterfly. This track is like a sensory stimulant. It sounds like a dance pop tune, a very good one, but it feels like a gospel song. 10 out of 10. The Beautiful Ones featuring Dru Hill. Honestly, I was really hoping that it was going to be an original song, as I feel like as fans we deserve that. But it's a cover track to Prince's classic song, Beautiful Ones. And they did an amazing song. They did the song justice. They shared great chemistry. And it's a 9 out of 10. The only reason it's not a 10 out of 10 is because it's not an original song. I was really hoping it was going to be an original song, so that's my bad. Outside, to be honest, it's an underwhelming ending to what is otherwise a mind-blowing album. It's an ode to having faith in yourself and God, and I really love the reoccurring theme of Mariah Carey just always throwing in a gospel song in there. You can tell she was raised in church. I love that for her. So, let's break it down. Let's break it down. We have this album tallying up to 112 points out of a possible 120, which equals out to 93%, and plus 10 extra credit points for her immaculate pen game. Now this is absolutely insane because it's a tie. It's a dead on tie. I tried my best to try to see if there's any songs that I can take points away or add any points for each album, but I just couldn't in all fairness, and I also added extra credit for each album, and this is insane. It's really it's legit a tie. They're both A pluses. This is really close race now. To me, it's right now the score is 2-2 with one tie. Okay, now right now it's a tie, and we're going to see who's going to break the tie with the last installment. And I'm really excited to see because I have listened to My Love Is Your Love by Whitney. So I'm excited to see who's going to come out on top. I'm really eager to revisit their comeback albums. So it's going to be good. So until then, just let me know what y'all think so far of each album. Am I missing with some of these? I don't know. But once again, really having a lot of fun with this. And also check out my new song, Eye to Eye, streaming everywhere. And check out my new poetry collection, A Home for Lonely Souls, available on Amazon. And I really appreciate your support. Y'all have a good one. Peace out.